The one permission that handled it all.
I clicked the button.
The button.
Let's
So
let's tell people to join maybe.
yes, finally we have unlocked the door. We found the magic
Okay.
button.
But your camera's frozen again, so
I'm frozen again.
yes,
Um, Great. Well, it's kind of cold today, so I guess my camera is feeling that.
maybe.
Or I don't know
Think
what's happening. Did
people,
somebody curse
yeah,
us?
I think it's fine.
Okay.
No, we can't
Then
see you though.
yeah, you'll be able to see me in hopefully a second. If this thing lets me in, and I guess I am static again, and I look very sleepy, which is not true. Welcome to finally the open stage, your equivalent to evening news according to the time right now. Let's get right into the questions, and it's not too late. There is a chat. If you click to the right, the speech bubble thing, feel free to ask us anything, even embarrassing stuff.
You're not gonna answer the embarrassing, like if
Yeah,
it's
but
embarrassing
you can
faster.
ask.
Just yeah, you can
Well,
ask.
you can
There's no
ask.
stupid question.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you answer the embarrassing stuff. I
We'll
already
see.
gathered some stuff that people have asked before, including on Discord. So your question is likely to be mentioned today. And there is something that I know you have. You guys have a really good story there. How long has Oddsparks been in active development?
Too long.
Yeah, it's 3 years, a
Three
bit more.
years. But over 3 years, yes.
Over 3 years.
Yep.
I mean, specifically, it's 2 years of actual, like,
Yep.
more or less the full team working on it,
I think
and
was it a
1 year
full
before.
year that we two worked on the prototype and like the
Yeah, I think so.
pre-development stuff. I mean, I have screenshots from that time actually prepared for the stream. If anyone's interested, I don't know if you want to see that.
Everyone wants to see that. That's a really good
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay. Let me find that. Bloop. So,
Oh God,
Robert, do you remember this one?
that throws me back to Corona times, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, pandemic times, really bad. We were at home working on this stuff. So Robert and me worked on a new game while everybody else was working on the last game we shipped. And it all started as a tycoon game, right? More or less. So we pitched something to our publisher about managing stuff, some monsters. It was a bit vague. And we landed kind of on the idea to have like this job agency that delivers monsters to overlords. That's kind of the idea. Like
Correct.
they're in need of armies, and you are like, this is a business. I can provide monsters, and you would have to build those housings for them and train them and make them really strong so they could have fun outside. And that was also then the problem. Like it always felt like they have fun outside without you, and you're just sitting there and doing bureaucracy. Um, so yeah, that we went through a few of those prototypes. So that was the glorious graphics back then in Unity, because that was just quick, and we knew we don't want to take anything of our prototyping code in the proper project because it would be terrible. So we kind of knew, okay, if we just start in a different engine, we kind of take it over.
Just to answer the question in chat, yeah, this is basically an early prototype. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
super
wasn't
early.
called like that, and it was a
It was
totally
called
different game.
Tycoon.
Yeah.
The very
Tycoon
descriptive
game
name
prototype, I
Tycoon
think.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
early Sparks.
early Sparks. Not even like the Sparks were so far away from at this point. So this is actually already the second phase where it was okay. Let's do like not the job thing. Let's do more of a resource management thing about that. But it still didn't really uh, feel quite right. And then at some point, let me see my order here. You haven't seen nothing. So the last one was can you see it? Yeah. This looks more familiar, right? That was a lot of construction. Some of you have might seen it in the demo, like the executable was still called that in the beginning,
Oopsie.
because that was the project name for a while. So you were this little lord and you would produce your monsters. So it was very close to what we have now. And then in the meantime, the name changed because at some point it didn't really feel appropriate anymore, and we figured out something new, and now we have the Sparks. So yeah, that's kind of the story. Yeah, and then this
Office
Sorry, we
dogs.
have dogs in the
we
office,
have
and you
dogs.
can't hear them right now, but they are very excited as well.
Yeah.
Our
So I really
trademark.
like those because those were our before and after shots that we show to the team just as a motivation, because you work on this game for a while and you get used to how it looks like and you feel like you're not really progressing. So it's nice to once in a while put this up and it's like, hey guys, we are going somewhere, right? And to the right was the after, the really cool looking new game that we were working on. So this was very, very early still. This was from the vertical slice. I don't even know when this was exactly, but yeah, there's not much left of that.
Probably 1.5 years ago, roughly.
What?
Yeah, could be. So 1.5 years ago, that's how the game looked like. Um, yeah, it's
This
quite
early
quick.
thing.
Yeah.
I remember when I was joining, I saw something like that, but I think it was a bit more advanced. And it's crazy how different it is from now.
Yeah.
We have an embarrassing question. Okay, this is something that I don't know, but again, I'm sure you have a good story there. What is your most embarrassing moment or bug when making the game? Maybe on the early stage.
That's an easy answer for me, at least. I once wrote a script that deleted all DLL files in the Win System 32 folder of a coworker. Yeah, that was
It's
a bit
sparks.
embarrassing.
Why would you do that, Howard?
I mean, I don't know if techie people are here. Like, I can tell you that if you have a batch script and you run it as an administrator, the working directory is system32 and not the folder you're running it at. And don't try to delete DLLs. Yeah, we had to
Yeah,
reinstall Windows.
That
Yeah,
is
sounds great.
quite.
I don't really. Nothing comes to mind. I probably have some embarrassing stories from development. Do you know an embarrassing story about me from development? I don't know
question.
anything. Maybe I find something in the meantime.
Yeah,
What else do we have?
Bee content. Any bee content. Plant or.
Bee content, like the insect, the animal bee,
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
not not the character. Uh, Bee content. Do we have bees? Not yet, right?
Well, we have something that
if you
kind of looks like bees.
yeah, we had some prototype models of like a bee bug thingy that threw
It was not a bee.
poison projectiles. It wasn't a
It
bee.
shot it shot green slime out of its butt, so
Look,
it was
it's
not
almost
a
a
bee.
bee, right?
It's almost a bee.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just gonna look into it. Yeah, I gonna go through my last few things. That could have been the game also, was little green goblins. That was kind of an idea, and yeah, that was an early concept.
Bee elephant making honey. It's like a. That sounds almost horrifying, but I kind of like that. We have the mm, beehives with honey. That definitely we don't have that. Even I know.
actually, try to not have too many interactions with like or enemies to have too many interactions, just because most of the time it will be off screen, and it doesn't really make sense to produce that, to be honest. Um, Maybe for the fantasy we could add something like that. Like currently we don't have a elephant spawn, so we could think about what that would look like.
Like
Something
a giant
probably like a
hive.
nest hive. Yeah, I don't know.
Speaking of, is there another question that comes from Reddit? And that's the question that I initially misunderstood. So I'm going to throw it just like that and see what you have to answer. Is there
Mhm.
pressure?
So we are not getting attacked like defense wise, like Victoria, for
Oh.
example.
Mhm.
But if you walk into hostile territory, then you get attacked. So
Yep. So maybe to put it broader, we did not want to have a stressful game. Those automation games are mostly about building your big structure, doing it on your own time, right? Like it is a lot about um, bringing order to something complex, what you can, like something that you cannot do in real life. Real life is very complicated and messy, and you are very stressed all the time, and you can never really get to a point where you're satisfied with anything because that's kind of how it is. So games can provide that, and we wanted to have a space where people can just mess around, have a good time, without being attacked, stressed, or I don't know, annoyed.
Yeah, we have some ideas for later in early access to maybe um for like holding an area you have to continuously do something, and that
Yep.
would, like, for example, defense would make sense in that. But yeah, we probably will not make buildings destroyable or something like that, just because it's
Yeah,
probably very annoying.
so yeah, what we don't want to do is you build stuff to be destroyed, and also stuff randomly happening in the middle of you, I don't know, thinking about building something, right? So you want to always be in control of triggering some events you can react to and not being surprised. Like the last thing I want in a game like this is thinking about how I'm gonna do my little setup somewhere, and then I have this alarm on the map that tells me, hey, you have to run there now because there's one enemy attacking your thing, and then yeah, that's never really fun for
Um,
me.
so we have
Yes,
oh, sorry.
you're good.
Oh,
Sorry, I just
okay, yeah, there's a tiny bit of delay. So another question is, when you guys made the game, did you imagine the game being a middle ground for Pikmin and Factorio fans?
Um, Not really, and I don't know if it is. Like the Pikmin aspect is not really that huge in the game, and I hope that Pikmin fans are not too disappointed if they think this is a Pikmin-esque game. Um, we just borrow a few control mechanics from that because what we wanted to do, that goes also to the core of the game, is have an automation game that is less about producing parts that are very abstract or very technical and producing something that is relatable and nice and fun, right? Like little creatures. That's what we landed on very early. Um, and then if you have a bunch of creatures that produce more creatures, you have to kind of control them and we wanted to figure out how to do that in a fun way. And then it was very natural to go into, oh yeah, let's do something like Pikmin because you have armies, you can send them around, you can throw them on stuff. That was a very natural evolution, but that was kind of how far we got, and we didn't really go into the puzzly aspects of Pikmin. So yeah, this is not really the middle ground. I would say it's still very much an automation game. It just borrows a few mechanics.
and
Um,
actually got, like, we got there quite late. Like, we in the if you saw the screenshots with the, like, purple things and the vertical slice, that's kind of at that point I think Michael just said I want to throw stuff, and then
I just
we
said
just we just
throw stuff.
threw stuff, and then I think
Yeah.
back then you just placed them on the path in front of you or something. Um,
You
and
opened
yeah,
an like the menu for the path and then put them in like in the workstations at the moment, and it
yeah,
was a bit boring. Yeah.
horrible. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then we threw stuff. And then we actually, at some point, we threw also items into workstations, but we threw that out. And
Mm.
yeah. And then the Pikmin controls are very close to that. So
speaking of throwing stuff, well, let's just get to action and automation and throw some stuff. I know you've been throwing stuff before we went live. And
So you want us to play the game, right?
yes,
That's what you
exactly.
very
mean.
cryptic, but fine.
Exactly. And since maybe we'll spill the beans, I think that's okay if we spill a bit of beans.
Yeah. Let's see.
This is a very
So
close group, so it's fine.
Yeah,
yeah,
this is
yeah.
just close friends.
Just
So if anybody's up for beans, this is the time. Beans or tea?
I I'm actually good, but I just realized that I'm slightly nervous playing in front of a bunch of people. Like that's weird.
Well,
I mean,
welcome
this
to
is
Especially
your
if it's
safe
live.
game, right?
it's my safe game, but especially if it is the game you've been making, playing that in front of people feels a bit weird. So just yeah, excuse me if I'm playing in a weird way and look like I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, this is a safe game which we started in a group with a few of the lead devs, and then I just took it over because I had to play the game for a while. Um, and maybe just to show you the extent of it, like that's kind of what I have so far. I'm not not done yet with the game, so I have a few hours in. It would still take me a bunch of hours to finish it completely. So yeah, so maybe we can take a little tour.
Yes, I would like a little too. I don't know the safe game, so
Yeah, so I'm gonna. So this is one of the very early stations that we build, I guess, where we just do the generic stuff that you also know from the demo. So we build the timber and panels and stuff like that. And it's conveniently placed next to the teleporter. I know the teleporters are very controversial in the demo, so we made sure that they are much nicer spread out across the map. So they should be in a really good place. Maybe a little bean spilling for the updates. We still want to work on the teleporters further. We have plans for them. And yes, at some point you will build teleporters yourself. But it will be probably a bit tricky just so you don't just jump around the whole time. Like, right, a little bit of walking should be included. Okay, so maybe this part is also very interesting for people that played the demo. We produce ether here. This is our clump to pellet thing. A lot of people were asking what are the clumps for in the demo. Like, they will be cut up in the butcher and then processed further in the distiller. We have a bielephant in the
You
house.
have a bielephant.
yeah, crazy.
I think if we
That's
need to
fun.
run, you know why.
Yeah.
So you put in your clumps in here, right?
Yes, correct. Oh, this is a new ping feature, Robert, that you're using. Looks
I
good.
am using that.
So, and from here on, yeah, ignore that to the left. It's not super interesting. Just producing some rope. It goes into all of my Spark productions over here. So maybe on that, you can see on the map, we have those clusters of foundations. No, they are called ancient bases. Sorry, the terminology is sometimes a bit hard if you develop the game because you name stuff and then you rename stuff and then you rename stuff. So we might have weird words for things that are not actually canon in the game. So bear with us. So those bases are more random in the demo and we wanted to have them more orderly so your bases can be more structured. And we have much more of them, so we have those clusters around. So yeah, you can see that's a bit neater, just a bit. It's not perfect, but it works.
And we have more questions.
Yeah.
So we have a question: will we have transportation for the player? I'm glad they're not forgotten the player.
We will, but not in the early access release. But there's something really cool planned, and you will hear about it in a week. Right? That's yeah. I don't know how much we want to spoil. Yeah, probably earlier. I don't know how much we want to spoil off, but I think we have enough to show for the release itself. But yeah, there will be some player transportation. That's kind of interesting. So yeah, here's a new thing. Most of you haven't seen yet. That's Spark Activator. That's the thing. So if sparks get put in, they get de-itemized kind of, and they walk on their own on the path. Which is nice, because if you have to deliver them somewhere, you don't have to kind of carry them. They can carry themselves, right? So that's the idea. So what I did here is, yeah, they walk themselves. So I have a bunch of those for different sparks. They all go down this road, this nice stone path, and then they itemize again, and then they get sorted in the big barrels. So this is the big ribbon you can see here, and some of them get transported into the mountains for further processing. So yeah, should we show a bit of the mountains?
A tiny bit.
Is that interesting for anyone?
And while we're at the mountains, we have one more question. Are you addressing the progressive loading behavior for early access? I was regularly seeing parts of the map pop in, and it broke the illusion quite a bit.
I think that's the question for me.
Definitely.
So it is better, but generally I like, so our game is loaded in chunks, And if I increase the chunk size, then I would need to like increase it in each direction, in all directions. Oh, oh yeah. And so currently the problem may still occur if you basically have your camera in an angle so you can see like the furthest away chunk that's furthest away. Um, so yeah, and we're gonna fix that, but it's not fixed fully yet in early access. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So there's some CPU limitations. It's just a very CPU heavy game. We have to load a bunch of stuff. So the whole word loads the whole time. So people also asked us why won't we tilt the camera more in front so you can see further out. The thing is, there is nothing to see. So the game just exists in this little patch around you, and after that comes a big void where you can see nothing. So it would break the illusion much more. That's all the CPUs can handle that we have so far. We will work on that and optimize that. Hopefully, like there's obviously a limit to that, but we might squeeze a bit more performance out of it. But so far, that's all we can do. So yeah, so we have a minimap. That's kind of our solution for that for now, to make you see a bit further around yourself. So right now we can see a bit more of the barrels. I know that a lot of people felt like the game was a bit claustrophobic. If you search for stuff, I feel like it's kind of solved with that a little bit. I would also like to zoom out more, but what can you do? Like there's physical limitations to computers. Who would have thought?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not. It is definitely solvable, but currently it wasn't the highest priority. So yeah,
Okay. Let's ride the elevator.
not right.
So yeah, elevators, you can see they help a lot to get through the mountains or get your items through the mountains. But that will not be the first thing you will have. One of the first things you will use is still ladder, which is pretty easy to just build. And then you can start exploring the mountains. Later on you get more vertical transportation or logistics stuff, so you can transport your stuff up and down the mountains. So you can get around pretty easily with those little thingies, the vents. I don't know. I am not a biologist. I don't know why they grow there and why you can shoot yourself around, but it's fun.
It is very fun.
It's very fun.
We have a biologist in the chat. Please let us know at least a theory why they might be growing there.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Like why would they wind? So another thing we have for transportation is the zipline. It's pretty nice and versatile because you can build it diagonally. So maybe I'm gonna show this off a little bit. So you have to build it on a cliff, obviously, and then the second part you see you can build around, like in a radius, but not too close, and also it has limitations on the height, so you cannot build it on the same height, right? It needs some verticality for the gravity to work for you, so it needs to go down, but it's really convenient to get stuff around your base. So this is so far my mountain spark production. It's not much, but it's honest work, I'd say.
What are
And
these,
here,
Mike?
oh, these are delivery chests. So in the demo and in the early quests, you have to take a bunch of stuff, run to the village, bring the stuff to the villagers, right, to finish quests. Later in the quests, you will have to deliver many more things to some degree where they don't fit into the chest in the village anymore. So we have delivery chests, and the cool thing about them is you can hook them up to your automation. So if you have to deliver, I don't know, a few hundred somethings, you can just automate them into the chest, and it's the best feeling, I'm telling you, to just see your little quest, the pinned quest, tick up and finish itself at some point. It's really good. I like that. So yeah, those are delivery chests. Any questions on those?
Actually, not on
Hey.
the delivery chests for now. I have one. A question spark has been thrown at me. So, are tunnels planned?
Ooh, Robert, that's yours.
So tunnels are actually kind of, maybe sort of easy to implement, but the problem is that they are underground or like in the in the wall or in the mountain, and then you first don't see what's up, you don't see what's wrong, and in general you can't like cross back there or stuff like that. So currently we don't have tunnels. If you would want to walk into a tunnel, that's a whole different technical thing. Currently our world generation only works in like 2 dimensions, so basically each like you can imagine a 2D grid, and every cell has a height, and we build the terrain out of that. So you can't, like similar to other games, you can't like have a hole in there basically that yeah has a roof in that sense.
Yeah. So maybe that's also the reason we don't have bridges that you can build properly. We have something like the zip lines works, right? Because you build them here, and that's the spaces they occupy. But in between, there's kind of nothing they build on. So if we want to have a proper bridge, like a, I don't know, like from mountain to mountain, like a land thing, and also build underneath, that wouldn't work, because in the 2D grid, that means that the top tile and the bottom tile would be the same tile, and there's no way to distinguish those. Or we would have to do a 3D grid, which would explode the complexity of it.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense for that to add a 3D grid. Obviously, you could like add a bridge that has everything built into it. So, for example, if it's a bridge path, and then you could build it, and it would act as a path, that's possible, but not like something that you build and then you could build a path on it or an elevator or something like that. So yeah, it's just a bit of the like tiny technical thing that we have to work around. But
Okay.
ziplines are fun, even more fun than bridges, right?
Even more fun. And here's something that it might be even more fun. I'm not sure. It's up to everyone here to decide. Will you guys make an obsidian, then crystal spark at a later point?
Ooh, crystal spark.
Sounds very pretty.
Yeah, I mean, we have quartz, so we could do something like that. So far we have only rock sparks. Let's see where it will lead. We have some wild ideas for some updates, definitely.
Speaking of
Yeah.
getting back to the sparks following give aquatic vibes. What do they do? Now this is being spilly hardcore.
You mean the Rockies? Do you like the Rockies? They're made out of rock. So they're just rocks. Uh, but what's cool about
Pretty
them
dumb,
is
to be honest.
that, yeah, I mean they're like stumpies, but not made out of stump, but out of rock, because they're called Rockies. But they can crush rocks, and that's cool, because now you can go into the woodlands, and every time you see one of those pesky rocks that you have to build around, you can just crush them and then build your stuff through it. So yeah, that's kind of the definition. They are the starting point of the mountain sparks, like the stumpies are the start of the woodland sparks, right? Like they're the basis, they're the very basic, dumb little guys that everything else comes from. And it's the same is true for the Rockies. So they're very basic, but they have some advantages. And the aquatic vibes is interesting that it's mentioned, because yeah, the whole mountain idea was kind of to have it feel like you're underwater. That's why our enemies are the way they are, and that's why we have weird coral plants. But you can, I guess, figure out the rest yourself and explore.
And we have another question that goes right to the core. How did we get the idea of walking tree stumps?
Do we know that? I
Good
was
question.
asking that myself today, because we had the goblins and stuff, and I was like, when did we? Maybe it was because we had trees and the items and stuff, and at some point we were like, we want to make monsters out of that. What would be a natural thing to make out of them?
I
And
actually think I think the choppy was first, right? But then we
yeah,
said we wanted to introduce them earlier because we don't want to build choppies by yourself to then have it automated by choppies.
yeah,
And then we thought, okay, just pop some eyes on a stump and then that's it. Maybe.
yeah. We had a time where the spikes looked very different, very fancy, and the Stumpy came very late. I know that. I know that we kind of needed this basic predecessor of all the other sparks, and that's why it came later than the other ones. And now it is kind of the standard, which is fun.
We also have a fashion question. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Is your character wearing a dev kit-like costume similar to dev items in Terraria? Which look is that? Which is that about? Character look.
So, I mean, I can just go in here. Um, so it is not like you will have access to all of this. It's not too fancy anything. So the shoes I kind of have stolen. I have not unlocked them yet. I just I found an exploit, and that's why I'm wearing those shoes. Um, so see, they're still locked, but I'm not gonna give them back. They're mine now. Yeah, that's you can see there are a few new customization options that you haven't seen in the demo. We have a bunch of them. So I'm just gonna do this, and yeah, I hope that
I don't even have
this.
everything unlocked, so yeah.
No, I haven't. Like, there's a bunch that's still locked. So I guess there's a bunch of weird stuff for everybody. We also have a bunch of staffs that are new. Okay, okay. Gonna go out. That's enough. I don't want to show it too close because that should be fun to discover for everybody on their own.
And there is way more. Can confirm. I'm not gonna say
So yeah.
more.
So in the office we are building outfits all the time and posting them into our chit chat, like the general chat we use. And there's a bunch of outfits in there every day, which is very fun. Like I don't know how that happened, but the game is very much about fashion at this point.
Oh, I wonder how that could have happened with a team like ours.
Yeah.
That's a very good question.
No.
Yeah, aquatic vibes and the mountain being aquatic themes, and the plains being forest vibes. Would that mean future areas would be mixtures of themes as well? Can we talk about that?
Probably. So for the enemies, you might have noticed that they always mix like in the woodlands. They are a mixture of insects, or at least creepy crawlies, and some general mammals. I would say they're not too defined. In the mountains, I guess everybody has caught on. It is birds mixed with underwater creatures. For the future, we'll see. There might be more interesting mixtures coming.
Mixtures coming back to crystal and obsidian sparks. If they happen, how strong will they get?
Very strong. The strongest, probably. I don't know.
Strong.
Like you cannot make me design a spark on the spot. That's not fair.
Probably as strong as they need to be in the biome they are found in Nomada.
Probably something like 5. I think 5 or 5.5 would be good.
Good.
That's
It's good
strength,
5.
right?
It's a good 5, yeah.
That's
I agree.
pretty.
Out of how
Brilliant.
many?
Okay.
Like on
No,
scale?
just 5.
It's 5. That's the answer.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Any more questions? Anything particular you want to see? I mean, we're pretty generous today, so I guess.
Yeah,
Nothing
maybe
is
we
secret.
shouldn't show more.
No?
I don't know.
Should we keep
mean,
the
there's-
good stuff to ourselves?
I mean, there's one really spicy one, but we kind of hinted at it. But I have not actually. Wait, do I have it unlocked? No, I cannot even show it because I'm not even that far in the game at the moment. Not in the safe game. Sorry.
Then it stays a secret for all of us.
Yeah, but maybe on the topic on ether production, because that's always a hot topic. Yes, you will be able to automate that. There will be a way. It's pretty cool. It's pretty elaborate. It will take me a while to do it in the safe game. Yeah, but it is possible to fully automate ether production. I don't know. Do I want to? Should I?
No, that's good.
No?
And you said enough.
That's good. So it
Said
might
enough.
have something to do with those. Just saying. That's it.
Those things, remember
Those
them.
things.
The things. And we have another question. Will the world reward exploration with puzzles to get unique items?
Unique items. Unique items are hard in a game like this because what would the unique item be? Because we don't have equipment, right? We don't have tools or anything. Like there's no golden pickaxe or diamond
Running
pickaxe,
shoes.
running shoes. I mean, people would like running shoes probably.
Yes.
But we don't have anything that you could equip that would make you better in any way. Like everything else is resources and it's about mass production. So um, it's really hard to figure out special items in a game like this. But we'll see. So we have some special things like parts that you get from enemies. I think they are the most special things that you can gather at the moment in the game. Let's see. Maybe we'll come up with something. But so far, it's not really a thing that feels missing, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, but also played the demo, the etheric orb is probably the closest you get to a unique or like a rare item in that sense.
Yeah.
We have some more of those, and the etheric orb is not anymore. It's different, but you'll see.
Oh, Christiana's writing she loves Carrie. And I just remembered, let me see where it is. Maybe I'm gonna... I don't know. I'm in a very spoilery mood. Maybe that's not good. I don't know.
That's great.
We have 8 minutes
We have-
left, Michael.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I mean, we have our producing people from many games here, so if I'm spilling too much, they can cut the cord or something. I don't know.
Then
Yeah.
we'll be in trouble.
Because just read that Christiane loves the carries. So if you love the carries, you will freaking love those guys. Because I know I love them, and I didn't think that I would love them so much. But they're really fun.
Even more mobs. Yes, keep an eye on everything. Remember what you see right now. And what
They
is
look so
everyone's
goofy.
favorite spark here?
I mean, mine is that thing. I'm not gonna name the name now because I mean we could as well, but yeah.
This one?
Yeah,
I
definitely.
don't know if it's my favorite. It's hard to say. It's like one of my new favorites.
The best thing, it reduces CPU load, so I'm
So that's why you love it.
yeah, you don't throw like 100 sparks on the path.
It does make your automation very clean, and I love it for
Yes.
that. And it's kind of very satisfying.
That's
to
what I
watch.
meant. That's what. Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly what I meant.
So I think it is a big contender for the favorite spark at the moment. But there are a few that come after that that are also very exciting, and they might become my favorites if I spend more time with them.
I think I know which one you mean.
Mm-hmm.
We have also the creature that it's one of my favorites. It's very mean, and probably that's why that blue thing over there. Does anybody knows the name of that? Maybe you can show.
Get rid of it.
Oh yeah,
Oh, maybe I need a few more.
kill it! Kill it! It's too cute. Spoiler, look up on the screen.
No. That's fine. Oh
Ooh.
no, they're
Oh.
coming.
They're coming to take you away, like in that
Yeah.
song. And anything else you want to see while we are spoiling shamelessly? I can guarantee this is gonna happen the next time, so use the chance to have a look at what you want to see.
I mean, it's also just spoiling until the release. It's not that far away,
Yeah.
so. And then, I mean, then that's your fault. And we are not the only ones spoiling the game, so.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, that if you did not see the name of that cute jumping blue creature, feel free to share your guesses in the chat. I'm very curious if anybody figures out how that.
Do you want to name the development name for it? Do you remember, Orchid? You probably know the name, right?
Of course I do. Of course I do, and I'm sure I'll wake up to a ton of messages asking the development name. Please don't.
Yeah.
Maybe.
One thing that we could spoil, Michael. There's a new tab, and the very last tab in the adventure screen that we could show. I don't know if like people might be
This
interested
one.
in that. This one.
It is kind of interesting. Yeah, I think for the where are my nerds at? Um, for them, it's kind of interesting. We call like internally we call it the ugly graph because people who
Well,
like graphs they don't need nice looking graphs. They want ugly graphs that just show you data. And that's kind of what you get. That's at least our first step of giving you more insight into all your production so you can kind of track how much you produce of a specific item. Um, and yeah, over which time you can track the consumption, the balance, like all the nice jazz that you love, probably. I don't know. I gotta admit, I want to make this game so I can play a automation game that is not too hard. But yeah,
I
for
really like
everybody
this
who wants
graph.
it. You like the
Yeah,
graph?
I
See,
I
like
then
like
graphs
the
we
graph.
too.
we did, yeah,
What
we
you can
did it
also do
right.
when you have the graph, you can brag it in front of your friends. You can show it off as you should.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Also great for first dates and stuff. Hey, do you want to see my graph? And yeah,
Yeah, take
just
notes.
just
I'm
In
just
just
saying.
Oddsparks.
be proud of your automation.
Yeah.
That's what I always say.
And we have probably the last question of today because we're 3 minutes away and we're gonna pack two cool things in that. Do you guys know how much you're making those hardcore producers will use for the perfect base? Um, so the hardcore producers, how
You mean the stats window probably. Um, I mean, yeah. I
the
mean, that's
graph?
kind of
Yeah.
the idea, right? Like they all should start new games and test out the best and fastest way to get a stack of logs across the map or something,
Yeah,
or to produce it. And yeah, that's
yeah. I
basically
was
what it's for.
very surprised about the stuff that people did already in the demo and how intricate it got and how much data they just got out of it. That was pretty impressive. And I thought, or we thought, like for those people, it would be nice to give them a bit more tooling so they can work with it. Also for them, we changed the rules on the path, so they cannot just build loops everywhere and have
Yeah,
the perfect solution for everything. We were like, that's boring, right? You don't want to crack the game in the demo. So yeah, have
yeah.
fun.
Thank you very much for pointing out the very overpowered loops.
Yeah.
We solved that, so you're welcome.
And I think we already have some questions even for the upcoming stream. So if you like this format, please let us know, and then I'll gather everyone around this virtual table again. We are 2 minutes away from the end of the stream, and I have a bit of a small surprise. While we're all waiting for Oddsparks to be out, we'll give you something to be creative with. Uh, it has nothing to do with trains, sorry to disappoint, but there will be something that you can edit on yourself, or maybe on a train, or maybe on your pet, and then share it in this server, or maybe on your socials if it's funny enough, just to stay in the nice mood until more news. Maybe not until release, but until you see more. Okay, and we're giving Christiane 5 more minutes, so we're gonna hang out here for a bit more after the stream. The good stuff is coming up. And I'm 95% sure, I don't have a graph, but I just have to say this, that thing will make you smile this evening. What we have prepared. We're 1 minute away from the end of the stream. Is there anything you want to show very last minute?
Why is everybody talking about trains? I don't know. That's weird.
It's weird. Yeah, I don't know.
That's really
I
weird.
mean, everybody likes trains.
Super unrelated to this game.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why does everybody like trains?
I mean, they're just cool and awesome. If it's not the Deutsche Bahn,
I think I
then they're
might have
fine.
called them the pinnacle of transportation at some point, but
Yeah.
don't quote me on that. No. Okay. Good.
I like the train talk. Well, we also like it because yeah, we
It's
like
just
train.
because like 80% of your name is train.
Yes. There's just missing a T.
Yeah.
That is a very good pun. So this is the pun of the day. And this is a very good ending to the stream. Thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks for catching the beans that we have spilled. Feel free to tell it to your friends, but tell those friends not to tell anyone. And let's see how that works. If you like this format, please let us know. I'm gonna post some questions in the server. we can do this again sometime, probably soon.
Yep, was fun.
Thank
Bye
you.
Yeah.
bye. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.